Hello everybody, and today we'll be ranking killers based on how map dependent they are. We're only going to do the main killers of Forsaken, so no admin killers like a Horse, Gubby, and Herobrine. But yeah, we have map doesn't matter, has a chance to win advantage, and it matters a little, very map dependent, can still win, but map is important, and map matters entirely. And we'll start first with Slasher. Being a melee only killer, you kind of have to hope a little bit that the map is good, but really, you can still win on like most maps with Slasher. Like you can win on any map with Slasher, even against like a good lobby, just as long as you're good with stamina management, because map doesn't really matter with Slasher, because he's just a stamina management killer. So if anything, he's stamina management dependent. Alright, Cool Kid. He does not really matter with map dependency. Like he doesn't, well, actually it does matter a little bit for Cool Kid. Because with things like walk speed override, if you have a big open map like Cake Factory, it's gonna be hard to land that. But if you got a place with a bunch of like closed off area, like Yulrik's resting point and all the bridges and other spots like that, then yeah, you can land a lot of walk speed overrides. So he's a little bit map dependent, but I've still landed a ton of walk speed overrides on open maps. You just gotta be good with it. John Doe. Yeah, he's pretty map dependent. Being a trapper, you kind of have to. There's many like times where like, if you don't get a good map and you go up against a really good lobby, you're just not going to win. Like for example, Planet Voss. You're not going to do much. It is a huge open area with, I think, maybe 5 actually good spots for digital footprint and a handful of spots for corrupt energy. So it's going to be almost impossible to trap anyone on something like Planet Voss. So like if you got a big open map, yeah, congratulations. You're not going to do much. No, actually, Slasher. I'm gonna move Slasher up 1 tier. Okay, Noli. The only really map dependent ability he has is Observant. For those who do not know, that teleports him to a generator for destroys. And most maps have good generator spots, and even on those that don't, you can still ambush. And your main goal with Observant is just to get close to Survivor, and there's no like map with a bunch of bunched up generators. So really, any map is good with Noli. Alright, up next is 1X. The map matters a little. Because like things like Cake Factory, if you got a big open field, it's gonna be easier to land Mass Infection. However, it's gonna be easier and harder at the same time depending on who you're going up against. But at the same time, if you have a map like Underground Fortress, which has 2 entire layers to it, or Underground Fortress, Underground Warfare, if you're going up against if you're going into a map Underground Warfare, there's a lot of like ups and downs, literally, with the whole top and bottom part. It's much harder to land Mass Infection when survivors can just either just go up a little bit of a staircase or go down to the underground part. So yeah, 1X is a little bit map dependent, but really not that much. Sixer. I don't even think the map matters that much with Sixer. Because, well, actually, hold on. do we need to talk about looping with Sixer? Okay, for those of you that don't know, Sixer is a big killer, meaning he has a big hitbox, meaning he gets looped really easily. So if you go in a map with very good looping spots, you're gonna get looped pretty hard. But as long as you use your Infernal Prize, Blood Hunts, and Blood Rushes very well, then you should be able to counter the looping. Assuming you're not going up against like the sweatiest player of all time. Alright, next. Nosferatu. He will go into the map matters a little bit. Because he doesn't really matter with his map. I've seen some people like go up to high spots and then just camp up there a little bit with Nosferatu and then just drop down last moment to like blood hook somebody or something like that. But like, it's not like effective in the slightest. Because one, you're wasting your own time, you're wasting your only aura reading ability, and you're just not doing anything while you're waiting up there. So I've seen, depending on how you play Nosferatu, if you do that strategy, good for you. It's not, I don't think it's a good strategy, but also I don't play Nosferatu much. So yeah. Then Azure, the newest killer to the game. Okay, so we're going to talk about Azure for a while now. So Azure's whole thing is like putting up plants. I'm just going to go into detail with this. He's got Vine, which is nice against choke point areas. It grabs a killer, or grabs a survivor for a little bit if they're in its range, like for a couple seconds, and then reveals their aura to the killer. If you don't get a good map with good choke points, kind of like playing a boss. Yeah. Even though Azure is like, in terms of Trapper, is a bit better than John Doe, he lacks the flexibility that John Doe does. Because while John Doe's corrupt spikes go really far, and you can basically corner anyone on any map with them, Azure really doesn't get that kind of advantage with Vines, his Seeker Bulbs, Entanglement, or even his Golems, Earthquake, or Shockwave. Because, like, he lacks the ability to make, like, while, yeah, sure, he can make small walls. They can always be disabled. You can use, like, undetectable. I made a whole short on that. And then, yeah, it's just, there's not really, like, if you lose a survivor during LMS, congratulations, you lost LMS. Because you're not going to find him. Azure lacks a aura reading ability, like every other killer in the game. And you might argue, oh, what about Cool Kid? He doesn't have an aura reading ability. That's why he's got pizza delivery to help find the survivor. However, as Azure, you're just done for. You just have to hope and pray that they walk into your trap. So the best advice I can give to Azure players is, if you're going to use your Golem, make sure it's not about to run out of time and you're on the other side of the map. If you play Azure, you want to do everything in your power to always keep the survivor in your sight. Because if you're going up against someone noob with 007 or even 2 times, and you lose sight of them, you're never going to find them again. Because they can hide behind something and you'll never be able to find them. I've done this many times during LMS, and it has helped me win many games. Plus, like I said, this whole thing is putting up plants and basically creating obstruction. He is the Artful of Forsaken. Well, anyway guys, that's gonna do it for this video. See you all in the next one. Bye.